All right. Yo, what's good, everybody? Oh, shoot. Before we get started, hold on. Uncompetitive, what's going on? How you doing? Got to do the old copy and paste. Hold on a second here. Give her a little tweet. And a paste. Okay. All right, let's get on with this. Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Lincoln Clay coming back at you. Simply Deep, what is up? That's BC. What's going on? You know what to do. Hit the bell icon, hit the like button. The rest will take care of itself. If you're new to the channel, welcome aboard. And a couple of things before we get started. I want to give a shout out to Sick Humor TV. He did his podcast today. It was a really good podcast. And I think the podcast went for about, I think maybe close to 3 hours or something. So that ate up a big chunk of my day. So big shout out to Sick for providing content. Help the day go by faster. And what else we got? Yeah, I think that might be it for little footnotes, maybe. So I'll probably, I'm planning on being on for about an hour. I want to make sure I'm well out of the way before BitCloud starts his podcast, the Real Gamer RGT podcast. Oh shoot! Got a message from JTech. He said he got WWE 2K19 for $19.79. $20. I might have to look into that. Here, let me see where he got it from. Also, I got to go to Walmart and pick up my copy of No Man's Sky. I bought a pre-owned copy on the Walmart website for $16, so I got to go pick that up. And PSN store. All right, cool. And also bought No Man's Sky on the PC as well. I ended up paying a little bit more for that. That was $30. I bought that on Steam. But hell, the shit was $60 at the PlayStation store. So they're getting ready. They're getting ready to ramp that shit up for that VR update. So yeah, I think that No Man's Sky VR is going to be huge. So I think I'm gonna have to take a look at that. I know I'm also gonna do some streaming tonight because I don't have to work tomorrow. And make sure you check us out at the Round Table tonight at 9 o'clock. Naturally, I will be there. And unless we go 5-6 hours, I'm looking to stay there the whole podcast this time, being that sleep's not going to be an issue, because I go to bed whenever I get ready tonight. So let's get into the first subject. And that's do we have a possible PC civil war on our hands? As a lot of Epic has been making some waves with some of the moves they have been making with the Epic Store, bringing the Division 2 Metro Exodus, and now Borderlands 3 being Epic Store exclusives, whether they're timed exclusives or not. Still, the point is they are exclusives. Uncompetitive, I am on the Eastern time zone, so it is 3:07 p.m. right now here on the East Coast. So I said this a while ago that that the Epic is making some bold moves with in the manner of which they are acquiring these games for their store. And I knew that was going to rub some people the wrong way. And so I had said that a while ago, that I wouldn't be surprised if we end up having a PC civil war where the PC community actually gets divided. I don't think we're there yet, but shit's already starting to get hot. You know what I mean? Because I'm hearing that Borderlands 3 is getting review bombed. I think on Steam, because a lot of people are pissed off about the game being an exclusive over at the Epic Store. So I think that I don't know. Right now, I think we just got a lot of pissed off people, but I think Entertainment Wizard, you said Valve probably making Half-Life 3 now. Yeah, I definitely plan to talk about Valve, in a little bit, but I want to finish talking about this PC thing. I think right now, a lot of people are pissed off. Borderlands 3 isn't out yet. No, it's not, Blue, but nonetheless, we all know that on PC it's going to be an Epic Store exclusive, whether it's timed or not. That's got a lot of people pissed off. That's the under. Oh, Phaedra Socrates, Borderlands 2 is bombed, not 3, because of 3 going Epic. Sarah's is great. What is up? I was under the impression that's what all the hubbub was about. So I might need to go fact check that or see what's going around. But that kind of, I don't know, that's kind of a weird statement right there, though. Socrates saying Borderlands 2 is bombed, not 3, because of 3 going to Epic. I mean, if Borderlands 2 is getting review bombed, the question is why. That is the impression that I was under? Is that it's getting review bombed wherever it's getting review bombed at. You say you can't bomb a game that does not exist? I disagree with that. If pre-orders exist somewhere, if pre-orders exist somewhere in that and wherever those pre-orders exist, if they give people the ability to submit reviews, then yeah, they can bomb a game that does not exist. And as far as I'm concerned, since Borderlands 3 is supposedly going to release in September, as far as I'm concerned, it does exist. It's just not in our hands yet. So, I mean, but but in a sense, you just said right there what I was just saying right there. You said they're taking their anger out on 2. They can't they can't bomb a game that doesn't exist, but you're saying they're going out and bombing number 2, Borderlands 2, because they're pissed that number 3 is going to the Epic Store. That still points to what I was trying to say. It said, but he's right. They are review bombing Borderlands 2. All right, my mistake on that one. I mean, when the way it came back to me, when I was under the impression that they were bombing Borderlands 3, I thought they were probably doing it on Reddit, because Reddit seems to be a platform where a lot of people let that shit be known. I mean, because that's what brought Star Wars Battlefront 2 down, with all the egregious shit that EA was trying on Battlefront 2. It was the uproar on Reddit that got everybody, they got the attention of everybody. So when I heard they were, so what I was under the impression that Borderlands 3 was being review bombed because it's going to the Epic Store, the first thing that hit my head is they're probably doing it at Reddit. So, uncompetitive, you said very helpful for you to confirm the time of the roundtable podcast. It works out as 2 a.m. For me in the UK. Woo wee! What's up? Don't call me Danny. And Christopher Hart, you say Nintendo Switch fans are trying to throw Mario Odyssey and Zelda Labo VR in our faces now. Plus, Switch Pro with more power is coming. Christopher Hart, I was going to say that, all these headsets that's coming out this year in VR speaks to it speaks to the growth of the genre. And I mean, now that Nintendo's throwing his hat in the ring, so it's a lot of headsets coming this year. So, Blue, you said entertainment. Oh, you're talking entertainment winner, entertainment wizard. My bad. So with that being said, I apologize. About coming in here with my shit not being right about this Borderlands situation. Because I thought I saw a couple of headlines that said that Borderlands 3 was getting review bombed. So my apologies on that one. But I'll still stick to my point that if people are getting pissed off about it being a Epic Store exclusive, it still points in the direction of that I think that when the Epic Store catches up to Steam in terms of features, it could divide the PC community. Fatal Sharad, what's up? Joystick Guru, what's up? I haven't messed around with the Epic Store. I mean, I don't have any interest in Metro, at least not right now. I don't have any interest in the Division 2. I don't know if I ever will. I did get a couple of codes from Best Buy when I bought my PC, and I went to redeem one of those codes, and it took me to some kind of AMD reward site, and I was supposed to download some tool in order to proceed with redeeming the code. And it was telling me that my download isn't genuine. So it was like, please try it again. I download it again, get the same message again. So I'm like, okay, here come the fuckery. Dick teased me with this code, and the fucking code, it won't let me redeem the fucking game. But I don't really care anyway, because I really didn't. The Division 2 wasn't a game that I was like really looking forward to. As a matter of fact, I'm almost done with flat screen games, to tell you the truth. I mean, right now, I'd probably say I'm about 90, 85, 90% VR right now. And that's only going to get, it's only going to get, that percentage is going to grow. Because I mean, right now, the only flat screen games that I'm interested in are the Sony exclusives. I'm definitely going to pick up Days Gone. And since we don't have dates on the other ones, I'm not really worried about them right now. I mean, the games that I'm looking forward to are the VR titles. I'm looking forward to, Blood and Truth. And now that we got more information about Iron Man, that it's supposed to be a full-blown game, sandbox type shit, with side missions and all that kind of stuff, and a story. And we know that Sony is good at storytelling. I think that that's another game that I'm really looking forward to. And I'm wondering if Iron Man is going to do for VR what Spider-Man did for the PS4 platform. Says, have you seen Stormlands VR? Probably not, Fatal Sharad, because I mean, my God, when you go to the Steam store, there is so many VR games there. It is unreal how many VR games is there. Man, I think the Oculus store probably only got about 25% of what Steam has. So that's something that I would have to like go out of my way to check it out. There's so many games at the Steam store that I might see something that interests me. It's just on the Oculus Rift. Okay, I'll check it out. But even between Oculus and Steam, there's so many games out there that I'll see something today that I think I might be interested in, and then it's like out of sight, out of mind. Once I forget about it, then it's like, I don't even remember the game anymore until like it might pop up as a featured game when I go to Steam or go to the Oculus store. So being that I fucked up and got my information wrong, I'll leave that PC shit alone and just I'll wait and see what happens. I'll just say this again, that when the Steam store catches up, not the Steam store, the Epic store, once it catches up to Steam in terms of features that they offer, we'll see how this plays out. Because there's no question that people was definitely pissed off that Metro was an Epic store exclusive. So if Epic keeps pulling this shit, and keeps snatching up these games and making them exclusives, it's going to cause some more, it's going to cause some more waves. It's going to cause some more rumblings within the PC community. Uncompetitive, do you think they are review bombing Borderlands 2 because Borderlands 3 isn't on Steam yet? Yes. That's exactly what I think it is. And that's why I had made this title, because I didn't get my shit. Joystick Guru. Not only do I have No Man's Sky for the PC, I bought it last week for the PC. I haven't even played it yet. I've never played No Man's Sky at all. But when I get done with this, podcast, I'm going to Walmart to pick up my PS4 copy of No Man's Sky. So I'm going to have it for both the PSVR and Oculus. So I'm still, so yeah, uncompetitive. Well, you're not wrong then, really. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if they're review bombing Borderlands 2 because they're pissed off that Borderlands 3 is going to the Epic store, in some sense, I'm still right in a sense that that is definitely causing some rumblings I'm not going to outright call it a full-blown civil war yet. I'm just going to wait and see what happens once, say maybe a year from now, because we know that the Steam store is supposed to be trying to add more and more features to cater to the, to the hardcore. So we'll see what the Epic Steam looks like compared to Steam, say a year from now. But I'm just saying it right now that, if it drives a wedge between in the PC community and divides the PC community, you heard it from me first, because I said that a while ago that I wouldn't be surprised if this shit causes a civil war. So, no, I'm not calling it a civil war yet, Fatal Sharad. You said it's not even a civil war because the people supporting the Epic Store aren't even PC gamers. No, I'm not going to call it a civil war yet, but I feel like shit's getting hot over there. You said you bought No Man's Sky at a PSN PlayStation Plus sale. Now I'm getting Beyond VR for free. Uncompetitive. I wish people on PC would stick to complaining about spyware and Epic's launcher rather than the false exclusives. Not an issue. Jamal King, what's going on with Spartan God? I think I said what's up to you, but what's going on with your Spartan God? Epic exclusives don't force anyone to buy an entirely new PC, so they're not the same as console exclusives. It's silly. Like I said, I'm not gonna call it a civil war yet. I'm just gonna say that I got my that I'm looking at this. I'm keeping my eye on this situation and see how this plays out in the months to come. So I'll leave that at that, and let's talk about the growth of VR. What I really wanted to do was talk about the growth of VR, and there's a lot of new VR headsets coming out this year. We have the Oculus Rift S, we have the Oculus Quest, we have I believe the Vive Pro. I know that Vive is supposed to be coming out with some kind of headset that's similar to the Oculus Quest. But I guess this one gives you the option of playing without a PC, or you can plug it into a PC. Don't quote me on that. So, but I think that's what I heard. Um, and then we have the Valve Index, which I believe is Steam's uncompetitive. You said was the Oculus Index AR headset an April Fool? Um, no, the headsets that are supposed to be coming out. So we got the Oculus Quest, and we got the Oculus Rift S. Those are supposed to be coming out in spring. Like I said, Vive is supposed to be coming out with some kind of headset similar to the Oculus Quest. I think it might be called the Vive Pro, but I'm not sure. And then Valve, they just they're taking pre-orders next month for their VR headset called the Valve Index. And from what people are saying, the only thing that they really said about the Valve Index is that they are speculating that it might have 135 degrees field of view versus 110 degrees field of view for the Oculus Rift. And I guess Valve is supposed to be having their own exclusives to go with this headset. So I'm definitely curious about this. I'm curious to see how much the Valve Index is going to cost. Yeah, I'm definitely curious about it because, like, I bought a third sensor for my Oculus Rift, so now I have superior tracking. I don't, based on what I know about the Oculus Rift S, I do not see it as an upgrade. People are more or less calling it a lateral move because there's some trade-offs there, and so no, I'm not going to get rid of my Oculus Rift for a Rift S. Christopher Hart, you can play PC VR games with your PSVR. Just download the Trinus PSVR app on your PC and play Steam VR games. Yeah, but here's a big question, Christopher Hart. You use this app to play, to use your PSVR on Steam. Will the Move controllers work on Steam as well, or do you have to use a regular controller, or will like the Oculus Rift controllers work? So I'm very curious about that. You can use any VR controller with PSVR. Okay, cool. On PC. All right, cool. I mean, that's cool to know. But I think that let's face it, Christopher Hart, some of these games on the PlayStation VR, the background is kind of blurry on some of these games. And I understand that that's in the hardware. That's in the hardware itself. With that being said, sure, I could go ahead and download the app and hook my PSVR up to the PC just to see what happens. But for the most part, I'll probably end up leaving things the way they are, just leaving the PC, the PlayStation VR on the PlayStation, and leaving the Oculus on Steam. Oh, but in the midst of mentioning all these VR headsets that's coming out, I forgot to mention the Labo VR with Nintendo. That's coming out, from what I understand, and this is coming from Spawnwave. It comes out April 16th, and a couple of games that's going to be playable on this VR is Zelda Breath of the Wild. You'll be able to play that in VR, and you will be able to play Mario Odyssey in VR. And these updates are going to be free, which I think is cool. And so if you already own those games, just like with No Man's Sky, the VR update is going to be free, which I think is cool because there's actually some games at the PlayStation Store that actually pulls some fuckery, Dirt Rally is one of the games that pulls some fuckery. You have to buy the game first, and then you have to buy the game in order to get to the VR mode, and then they charge separately for the VR mode. So at one point you were paying $60 for the game, and then another $15 for the VR mode. Fuck that. I think there's a couple of more games at the PlayStation Store that pulls that bullshit, where they have the flat screen version of the game, which you would need to buy in order to get to the VR mode, which they charge you separately for the VR mode. Joystick Guru, you said unless you play Wipeout on PSVR, crispy as fuck. Now, don't get me wrong, Joystick Guru. I'm not saying every game is blurry, but some of them is worse than others. Like, as much as I hate to admit it, Drive Club VR, night races are awful on that game. That shit, that blur is so bad. Other games have a light blur. Other games have a medium blur. I mean, hell, even Oculus is not immune to this shit. So some of these games on Steam, where you look at it through the Oculus headset, there's a little bit of blur. Oh, on competitive, you have a VR. I didn't know that. Christopher Hart, you said Mario Odyssey is going to be switched up a little in VR, but Breath of the Wild is going to be full experience. You know what, Christopher Hart? I'm actually curious about those. When I first heard about the Labo VR, I don't remember where I heard it from, but I had heard that Super Smash Brothers was supposed to be one of the playable games on the Labo VR, and that actually I'm interested in it. And it costs $40, which I think is overpriced, but it's still a hell of a lot better than 300, 400, 500, whatever. So I'm actually curious about it. I guess not enough to go jump out of my seat and go buy it for myself. But if my son tells me he wants it, because I bought him a Switch, so if my son tells me he wants that Labo VR, then I'll get it for him. Just because I have my own motive, in checking it out. Christopher Hart, you said they bundled the main game with VR for sale a couple of times for Dirt VR. Yes, I saw that, but I'm not really that interested in Dirt VR, to tell you the truth. I've come to find out that is as far as I said it before, as far as a full blown multiplayer VR racer, pure racer, it looks like we're just not there yet. I see some of the bigger YouTubers like Sim Racing 604, Jimmy Broadbent. I see some of these guys. They they'll do a number of streams, using the Oculus Vive or whatever, doing races on Project Cars 2, on iRacing, on the Race Room, Assetto Corsa. They'll do streams on those games, and when they race against a full grid, it's always the IP. It's always the AI. I have not seen them do a VR multiplayer race. So it looks to me like we're not there yet. And then even with Sim 604, he was doing a stream in VR against a full grid, and he was talking about how he was experiencing frame drops. So he was saying he was going to have to turn the settings down on the graphics in order to to account for the frame drops. It says Joystick, if you got a T150 or higher, Dirt VR is amazing. Yes, I do. I do have a T150, and actually the Dirt version on GT Sport, that's actually pretty fun too. But the problem is it's either a time trial or a one-on-one race. It's not a full grid. Uncompetitive said, after I move, to a house, I plan to buy something with a room dedicated to VR. Actually, Uncompetitive, I plan to do the same thing. Where I live at now, I plan to live here 1, 2, maybe 3 more years at the most, and then I want to buy a house. And then if I could move out as soon as I might move out as early as next year. And if I do, I'm thinking about getting a 2-bedroom apartment and then use the second bedroom strictly, strictly PC, VR, all that stuff in there. Because right now, all the shit's in my living room. And that's the biggest reason why I'm using the TV as a monitor. I'm sitting at a different computer right now. This is the computer I do my streams from. And it's at a computer desk, but the room that I'm in, there's just no room for VR in this room whatsoever. Fatal Sharad, have I tried Elite Dangerous in VR? Kind of. I played it for about 10 minutes. I'm in a spaceship, flying around shooting other spaceships. I'm going to give it a try again and try to get a little more deep into it. Joystick Guru, full grid. You need Drive Club, which is fun, but as Clay said, a bit blurry. From what I'm seeing, Joystick Guru, Drive Club is the only game that is VR multiplayer. This is a racing game. Like I said, games like Project Cars 2, I have not been able to play a VR multiplayer race. I tried it once and the game crashed on me when we were trying to go to the lobby. And then, like I said, the bigger YouTubers that do VR streams with a full grid, it's always against the AI. It's not a VR multiplayer race. Uncompetitive. Just checked out and I have a Logitech G29 force feedback wheel with a metal frame to house it in and manual gear shift. Yeah. Ooh-wee. Go ahead then, uncompetitive. Shit. Big money. Big money, uncompetitive. Yeah, I don't consider Wipeout a regular racer because that's, you got those speed boosts, all over the track. And then I think you got weapons in the game too. So I don't consider that a pure racer. I want a pure racer, like a GT Sport with a full grid, and it be VR multiplayer. And as far as the Sony part of it goes, the only one that we got right now, they're going to be shutting the servers down. So with that being said, we probably won't get another one from Sony until the next generation. Yeah, I like Wipeout too, Jamal King. Don't get me wrong. It's just I want a pure racer. So you can turn on pure racing. I mean, that's cool too. But throughout my years, Joystick Guru, at times I've been a car fanatic. I played Project Cars 2 in a full grid in VR, and it wasn't bad. The problem was that my T150 is not working on the game. I wish Sony hired an X-Evolution staff to make a sequel to Drive Club for PS5, PSVR 2. Yeah, I agree. I also said uncompetitive that even if Sony were not to do a Order 1886 exclusive, that I think they should still bring Ready at Dawn in to do some sort of VR exclusive for them, because they did Lone Echo for Oculus, and that game looks absolutely amazing. Uncompetitive. You said they could keep The Last of Us 2, Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding. Just give me Drive Club 2. For next generation? Yeah. I mean, look how much VR talk we doing right now. I mean, I think something amazing is about to happen with VR. It's growing. Like it or not, it's growing. Um, and even if VR does not hit the mainstream the way I would like to see it hit the mainstream, VR is here to stay because VR is the one platform that is used to display technological advances. When new gadgets come out and they show off all these gadgets and shit like that, some kind of mixed reality, some kind of augmented reality, some kind of virtual reality is displayed at one of these electronic shows. So so in one form or another, VR is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. Christopher Hart, you said PS5 and PSVR 2 is most likely going to be wireless with inside out head tracking and no camera needed. That's fine with me. I just hope they give you an option to use the cord if you want, because I'm probably one of the yes, it's definitely here to stay because of Rift Oculus and Ninty are in it too. Without a doubt. I mean, you know what? I'm telling you, wow. So let me slip this in real quick about Nintendo. A lot of people talk about that Nintendo Labo VR. You know what's going to happen, right? I think the Breath of the Wild is already going to be big for them. I think that's going to be a Labo seller. I think that's going to make a lot of people jump up and go pick up a Nintendo Labo. What happens when they make a Pokemon game in VR? That's probably going to be a slam dunk. I think if Nintendo were to do a update for the Pokemon game and let that be in VR, that would probably for me be the equivalent of The Last of Us 2 being in VR, because I'd lose my goddamn mind if The Last of Us 2 was in VR. I'd fucking lose it. Yeah, Christopher Hart, you said Nintendo made sure people took Labo seriously by introducing Mario and Zelda. They are making a huge splash with this news now. And then, even if the Labo is made of cardboard, it's $40. That's still affordable. I mean, even Spawn Wave, when he said he's going to get a Labo VR, and he's the way he makes it sound, he's just getting it for curiosity's sake. That right there, to me, makes it a system seller. I'm curious. I think it's 40 uncompetitive, but I will take it. Maybe it's 80 if it's included, if it has some games included with it. But I thought it was 40. Christopher Hart, if Nintendo makes Pokemon, Mario Kart, Smash Brothers, or Splatoon in VR, it's a wrap. No question about that. Pokemon would be the icing on the cake. PLO, I'm thinking that PSVR 2 won't come out until 2 years after the PS5 launch, and PSVR 1 will still work with PS5 as a cheaper option to the casuals. I agree. You know what else? It isn't just a cardboard. You need a couple of lenses too. Yeah. Yeah. Despite all that, I still thought it was $40. But I'll follow up on it to make sure uncompetitive. Going back to word Jamal King. All right. Thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it. Sarah's is great. I'm still hoping Creative Assembly announces PSVR support for Alien Isolation. Back in 2014, everybody said that game was terrorizing gamers at the trade shows. I'm telling you right now, I'm not messing around with any horror games. I'm not. uh, I had bought this game, The Weeping Doll, and it was on sale for about I think about $6 at the PlayStation Store, and I was playing the game, and I'm moving about in the house as instructed, but I keep on hearing like shit dangling, sound like chains dangling together, glasses knocking together. Um, and I said, fuck that. I took the headset off because I was like, something is going to come out and get me. I said, I'm done. Fuck that. I took that shit off and didn't come back to it. Hey, I'm sorry, joystick. Fuck that, man. I think out of these horror games, I could probably go back to Resident Evil. Because I did not finish that. I could probably go back to Resident Evil. Curious as to whether I could handle the inpatient. But if you want to talk about, PLO, you said Alien Isolation in VR would be a heart attack simulator. I agree. Shit, we might have some heart attack shit coming up with this Five Nights at Freddy's shit coming up here pretty soon. That's supposed to come out this month. I am going to get that game. My son wants it, and he says he's not scared of it. So, Christopher Hart, have you played The Exorcist VR yet? No, I have not. Don't know if I will either. Also, Christopher Hart, you said all the games I just mentioned for Nintendo Labo VR have such replayability, they will literally make massive sales. No question about that. You said Five Nights at Freddy's seems to be kiddie though, which I think it is. I've never really played it. I just watched my son play it. But what I'm saying, I think is going to scare the shit out of everybody, joystick, is that you might be in a room pitch black and then something jumps out in front of you. So if I see something coming, I'm not going to be scared of it. It's shit when it's pitch black and something jumps right in my face. This startles me. That's the shit I don't want to deal with. Competitor, please be in a room with your son when he plays it and hide all your faces. Oh, that's definitely the plan. I will be standing next to him when he plays it. Now, he was telling me that he would rather me get it on Oculus if it's available on Oculus. Because he likes Oculus better than PSVR. So yeah, so let's recap. Talking about the growth of VR. So as far as games go, we got Breath of the Wild, which I think is going to be huge. I think Mario Odyssey is going to have an impact. We've got the games that Sony mentioned, the ones that I'm looking for. Blood and Truth, Iron Man VR. That's another thing that I think is going to happen. I think Iron Man VR, you know what I think is going to happen with Iron Man VR? If this game turns out to be a smash, I think when the PS5 comes out, they're going to give you an update and give you the PS5, enhanced version of the game, where you can get, enhanced graphics or whatever. If the game turns out to be a hit. I also think that No Man's Sky, even though it's going to be cross-play with Oculus and Vive, and VR and non-VR players can all play together, I think No Man's Sky is going to be a system seller, but I think it's going to sell the most on the PlayStation VR. I think because especially if Sony is willing to put the PlayStation VR on sale again, right around the time that No Man's Sky comes out, that's going to definitely move some VR units off the shelf. I mean, because this game has really bounced back. I mean, it had a disastrous launch. I really don't know the deal with it. Fatal Sharad, any console, PC crossplay with No Man's Sky. Yes, Fatal Sharad. No Man's Sky is going to be crossplay. At least the VR part of it is going to be crossplay with PlayStation VR, Oculus, and HTC Vive, and VR players and non-VR players are all going to be able to play with each other too. So that's going to be huge. And I've already bought my copy of No Man's Sky on Steam last week. And then once I'm done with this podcast, I'm heading out to Walmart to go pick up my PS4 copy of No Man's Sky. So yeah, I'm looking forward. Looking forward to it. Uncompetitive. I applied for a job at Hello Games. All right, man. Uncompetitive. I want some free games if you get a job there. I want some codes. I want some free codes. Joystick. You said you hope No Man's Sky gets HOTAS support. Now, here's the thing, Joystick. Now, even if it does get HOTAS support, what are you supposed to do once you get out of the spaceship and you walking around? I mean, you still plan on using the HOTAS stick to navigate, to move around, to explore the planet? Saris is great. I definitely agree with you. No Man's Sky will probably sell more on PSVR, but the best performance experience will be on Oculus. 100% agree with you. I think it's going to sell more on the PlayStation because there's way more PSVRs out there, and Sony is willing to take the hit, and they'll put PlayStation VR on sale. It seems like they put it on sale every couple of months. So I don't know when I don't know when they're going to do it. I'm pretty sure Sony is going to put the PlayStation on sale, the PlayStation VR on sale when one of these big game releases. I don't know if it's going to be Iron Man because I don't know. With that being a Sony exclusive, Sony could actually pull a double whammy if they really wanted to. They could do a Iron Man bundle for the PlayStation VR and release it right around the time that the No Man's Sky VR update comes out. That would be a double whammy right there. I think that would be huge if they did that. Uncompetitive. I don't think I'll get it. They'll send an automated reply email. I think they get a lot of job applications. Hey, uncompetitive, you never know. No Man's Sky. I mean, PLO, you said, I believe it will be crossplay simply because No Man's Sky will be big for PSVR, so they will likely allow crossplay with PC and possibly even, a couple of bigger YouTubers have already said that it's supposed to be, crossplay. But I suspected there was going to be that anyway when they first announced it, because that game has really bounced back and pretty much has a big player base now. So for that to be crossplay would be huge. I mean, there's a few games out there in VR that's crossplay. With Star Trek Bridge Crew, Space Junkies is crossplay. You said, I believe it will be. You said so. They will likely allow crossplay with PC and possibly even Xbox. Yeah, that's a possibility. Because of the way Hello Games plans to implement this, I shouldn't jump the gun and say that, but if Sony were to allow crossplay with the Xbox on No Man's Sky, I don't know how much damage that would do to them even if it would. I mean, because when you allow VR players and non-VR players to play, that's going to make that world humongous. I mean, you can do that right now with Eve Valkyrie. Now that Craig Harris showed up in here, and I just thought about that. VR players and non-VR players can play together on Eve Valkyrie. Uncompetitive. You said I spoke to my neighbor when I told him about the game I was working on, and he told me I should make it VR. Hey, it's a market. It's a market. All this stuff, all these games that we talking about, all these headsets coming out. I mean, would all these people be making headsets if the market wasn't growing? If you include the Labo, we've got 5 headsets coming out this year. So the core gameplay of No Man's Sky is weak. It doesn't require enough skill. I'm not talking, uncompetitive. The thing about No Man's Sky, what the game is supposed to be about is what interested me. The thought of, exploring other planets, seeing life forms on other planets, all that kind of stuff. That's what I thought No Man's Sky was supposed to be about. And it interested me because, there are some sci-fi things that do interest me. I'm a little bit of a Trekkie. I do like watching some of the old school Star Treks, the Star Trek Next Generation, the original Star Trek series with Captain Kirk, that kind of stuff. Some of the Star Trek movies. I like some of the Star Trek movies. Not this bullshit they got now with that what's his face playing a young Kirk. No, not that bullshit. I'm talking about the original cast of the original Star Trek series when they started doing movies. Star Trek, Rafticon, all that kind of stuff. So I'm into sci-fi shit, and I was a big fan of the first 3 Star Wars movies, and I think The Empire Strikes Back might be the big one. I think that might be the best one to me, the Empire Strikes Back out of the original 3 movies. So with that being said, No Man's Sky had me interested, but once the shit got off to a bad launch, and I was hearing that, okay, you weren't running into live people, that these planets were empty and all this kind of shit, I lost interest in the game. But I heard they've been fixing the shit as they go along, that, the game is a lot better now. I'm hearing that. And then for you to be able to do everything you can do on the game now, they're saying you can do it in VR. So now I am definitely interested. So much to the point that I bought copies of the game on Steam as well as PS4, and I haven't even played them yet. I probably won't play them until it's time for the VR update to come out. I'm at a point right now where I almost don't play flat screen games anymore. As I said earlier, the only flat screen games that I'm really interested in are the Sony exclusives. Like right now, MLB The Show. I still love that game, and I'm still looking for the heavy hitters from Sony. The Last of Us, all that good stuff. But other than that, I really don't have any interest in playing flat screen games anymore, especially this third party bullshit with the state of gaming right now. When you have these third party, releasing these incomplete or these broken games that are still centered around microtransactions. And I mean, this multiplayer bullshit where they're not even really giving you a fun experience. It seems like the basis of the game is for them to create an economy where you feel like your best chance to be able to exist in that economy is to buy shit rather than earn it. So no, I like right now, I have no desire, no interest to play Red Dead 2. I don't. And I'm still debating about what to do with the damn game, because I was talking about giving it away, when I hit 500 subs, because I'm, going to do something when I hit 500 subs, and I'm thinking about including Red Dead 2 in that as a giveaway, because I just don't have any interest in playing the game. Uncompetitive. You said the inventory should have a limited number of slots for crafted items, but you should have another tab for a periodic table of all the elements you collect without restriction. Having to throw out useful things I found in crates to make room for metal is dumb. Uncompetitive. Unfortunately, I have no idea what you're talking about because I have not played No Man's Sky at all. I bought 2 copies of this game, and I don't even plan to look at it until around the time that the VR update comes out. That's how much I'm into VR, and that's how much I have become disinterested in, if I can say that, if that's a word, in flat screen games. And I promise you, if they make a MLB The Show fully playable in VR, I'll probably never go back to playing it in flat screen. Oh, excuse me. Feel a little growling in my stomach. What is Best Buy talking about this 24-hour flash sale? You really have enjoyed the Division 2? I have no interest in playing the Division 2 because I really don't have any interest in playing any co-op games. PLO, you said I really can't believe Sony never put any VR functionality into MLB The Show. I'm thinking because they can't do it right now. Because that guy Ramon, every year when they promote MLB The Show, that guy that Ramon and the couple of other employees, for San Diego studios or whatever, every year when they promote MLB The Show, I think last year someone asked them if they had plans to put a VR mode in MLB The Show. And they've said they have taken a look at that. They said they took a look at it, and they're always exploring new possibilities of how they can enhance the game. So I'm sure that was on the chalkboard at one point or another to put a VR mode into the game. But my guess is they just can't do it right now. I think we're not going to see that until next generation. Yeah, PLO, I agree. They could have at least put a home run derby on there, but there is a home run derby game at the PlayStation Store, which I was curious about it, but I thought $20 was a little steep for it, for just a home run derby. Because that VR Sports Challenge that I have on the Oculus has a home run derby in it amongst all the other games that's in it. The hockey, the basketball, the football. It has a home run derby in there, along with a couple of other mini games. Just a minute. Hold on. The Spartan God said, I don't know, Link, in the Division 2 is pretty damn good. I don't doubt that the game is good, Spartan. I'm just not interested in playing any co-op games, and I'm damn near not interested in playing any flat screen games anymore, to be truthful. You said nothing will top Wii Sports, though. Come on, man. And also, you saying Lincoln out here skipping Spartan's comments. All right, man. I got you caught up, man. I got you caught up on those comments. PLO, you said you heard that game was crap. If you're talking about the VR Sports Challenge over on Oculus, I like it. I've done a couple of streams on that game. And I think the football version, I think the football part of the VR Sports Challenge proves that a game like Madden can be done fully playable in VR. And you said, I see uncompetitive. You were asking Craig Harris, is he's visiting Wakanda tomorrow? I do plan to do live from Wakanda tomorrow. And oh, you talking about the MLB home run game on PSVR? Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that it's trash. And I'm not willing to pay $20 to find out either. And the crazy part about that PLO is that game, Like it was $20. It came out right last spring, right when the baseball season was supposed to start. So I had baseball fever. So I was thinking about getting that game. And then I was like, nah, $20. I'll just wait for a sale. That shit never went on sale, and it still remained $20 even through the damn winter. That's crazy. But now that they have a home run mode, a home run derby on VR Sports Challenge on Oculus, fuck no, I'm never gonna buy that game over on the PlayStation Store. Not till they knock that shit down to at least $10. Now, back to this Craig Harris thing about him visiting Wakanda. I was trying to sidestep that, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that I would hope that Craig comes to Wakanda of his own free will because he has an open door policy. He's allowed in Wakanda anytime he wants to visit. But I hope it doesn't turn into a situation where if the Malajé see him, they might have to bring him back by force. I don't want it to come to that. You said it was on sale once for $15. Still not cheap enough, though. I agree. Oh, you know what? Does anybody in here have an Oculus Rift? Not necessarily, and not even necessarily an Oculus Rift. Does anyone have Oculus or Vive? Because I forgot I did a on the fly impressions for this VR game called Drive. The developers sent me 4 codes. I took one for myself naturally because I did the review on the fly impressions of it. I gave one to J Dub, and I'm still going to give one to Sick Humor, so I still have one more code left that I can give away. If anybody in this chat has an Oculus or has a Vive, then I'll put the code in the chat. And so whoever grabs it first, that's the one that grabs it. But be warned, the game is in it is in alpha. It is in alpha. Right now it's just one racetrack that you have access to, just one car that you have access to. But hell, it's still free. What I want to know is if Sony continues. Okay, look. I was about to say 2 things VR related, connected to Microsoft as well. One of the things I was going to say is that I wonder if Microsoft will still consider getting into the VR market if they still see it continuing to grow. Like I said, VR is here to stay. Sony gives us the best chance of VR going mainstream. And so if Sony can bring VR to the success of where maybe 1 in every 4 PlayStation owners have a PlayStation VR, that would be an awful lot of headsets, and I wonder if that will make Microsoft reconsider getting into the VR ring. Players United virtual reality Conda. Also, the Iron Man VR. If that game, as I said before, if that game turns out to be a hit, if that game gets accolades similar to Spider-Man, if this game can do for VR what Spider-Man did for the PS4, I'm wondering what the rhetoric will be coming out of the Xbox mouth. What I think what the excuse will be is that they won't be mad rather than not admit that they won't admit that they should get a VR. What they'll probably do is say that Sony took a character away from them that should have been available to everybody. I think what their rhetoric would be is like, okay, if you want to make a VR of God of War and Kratos, okay, that's Sony's platform, but Iron Man belongs to everybody, and everybody should be able to use Iron Man. So I think they'll start spitting some kind of stupid ass rhetoric that Sony took a character away from them and kept it for themselves and was, selfish and anti-consumer, some shit like that. PLO, you said Microsoft should work a deal to use Sony's headset to cut costs. They had a deal with Oculus. They announced it. E317. They promised high fidelity VR and they had a partnership with Oculus, which leads me to believe that it was going to go one of two ways. It led me to believe that the Xbox One X had VR software baked into it, or that Oculus was probably going to make some kind of box, some kind of processor box to make it work with the Xbox One X. And it never happened. And so I'm sure if Microsoft wanted to get involved with VR, they could still pick up the phone and give Oculus a call. I think I'll still say what I really think happened, PLO. I think Microsoft did not deliver VR because they saw what a slow start Sony had with it. If the PlayStation VR would have sold like hotcakes when it first launched and it would have spread like a wildfire, then Microsoft, I think they would have followed through with having Oculus partnering up with Oculus. I think they would have followed through with it. But Microsoft piggybacks off of everybody. Microsoft doesn't create anything on their own to generate money. They see what everybody else is doing. They see what everybody else is doing that's successful, and then they do the same shit. They copy them. They're the avatars. They copied Nintendo and their Mii's. Their games with gold. They copied PlayStation Plus. They had shit like Netflix behind the paywall where you had to have Xbox Live in order to access, the Netflix app. And I think because Sony didn't put any of that shit behind a paywall, I think it forced Microsoft to respond because they got criticism for that, for shit like that, Netflix, and I think shit like Crackle and stuff like that being behind paywalls. Yeah, PLO, if it's not a sure thing, they're not messing with it. Microsoft won't fuck with anything where they actually have to take a chance. If Microsoft has to jump into the water by themselves, they're not going to do it. They're going to let somebody else jump in that water first. And if that person don't drown, or the water's not freezing cold, then they'll go ahead and jump in there. But they're going to let somebody else go first. So I don't know. I'm wondering what I should play when I get back, because I'm definitely going to stream something. And right now, I can tell you that the only flat screen game that I'm willing to stream is MLB The Show. There's nothing else out there that I'm interested in playing as far as flat screen games goes. So if I don't, everything else is going to be VR. I don't know. I love VR. Well, I do know I love VR. So I've been on a little bit over an hour. I'll get ready to wrap this thing up. So once again, I apologize for not having my shit right about this Borderlands situation. I mean, I was a little bit right about it being an uproar, but I was wrong in how it transpired. So I apologize for that. Uncompetitive Apple let everyone jump in ahead of them and watch the mistakes they all make. Yeah, this is true. But I think in the case of Microsoft, when they do have an idea that they're going to take a chance on, they might try to force it on you. Now it's obvious that Microsoft got the idea of the Kinect. In my opinion, they got it from the Nintendo Wii, but they tried to force it on you this generation. They try to make you take the shit this generation. Damn, I'm starting to get hungry too. Shit. Mm. Mm. Who knows? I might go out to eat tonight. Shit. So everything else that I got to talk about, I'll save it for tomorrow. Live from Wakanda. Um, most of it is VR stuff. Food Conda. uh, but I think I will give you a little bit of a breakdown of what I plan to talk about tomorrow. I'm definitely going to revisit this Mario Odyssey thing, and Zelda going to the Labo VR. I'll talk a little bit about the Valve Index. I'll pose the question of what's going to happen to BioWare amidst this disastrous development cycle for Anthem. Sounds like it's like total chaos over there. Um, Again, I'll revisit about me thinking that 2019 is going to be the best year for VR. And I'm going to talk about a little bit about. I wonder if Mario Odyssey going to the Labo VR. I'm wondering if it was inspired by Astrobot. So we'll talk about. So those are the things that I'll talk about tomorrow. So we won't be limited to just those subjects. We can still talk about some other things too. So. N4G. The next Devil May Cry needs to put its women front and center. Oh yeah, that's the other thing I forgot that I want to talk about tomorrow. Uncompetitive. I commented on Jason Schreier's article, and he deleted it, and he blocked me on Twitter too. Yes, I have heard that he blocks a lot of people, but he also, I think one time he said something about something to the effect of, paraphrasing him, something to the effect of gamers being whiners or gamers being ungrateful or something like that, because gamers were hollering about microtransactions. And I think he said something to the effect that microtransactions needs to be in games or some shit like that. And I know he got some backlash from that. And it seemed like it was around that time that I was hearing about him blocking people. So yeah, I mean, actually, this shit that Jason Schreier reported about the chaos that's going on at BioWare. Fact of the matter is that only reason why I listened to it because it's clear that something is not right with EA and BioWare. Something's not right over there because it's like Anthem seems that, if YouTube was news, Anthem cannot stay out of the news. It seems like every day somebody's saying something about Anthem. Something's obviously up with that game. I've never played it before, so I can't speak on what kind of shit is going on with that game. I just know that the shit keeps popping up on YouTube's videos everywhere. So obviously something's going on. So that's the only reason why I was even remotely interested in what Jason Schreier had to say, because if he would have been talking about anything else, it would have went in one ear and out the other, because I really ain't interested in shit he's got to say. It says, I could tell you why I think EA pulled resources from it if you want to know. Yeah, sure. You can go ahead and tell me real quick, because I'll be getting ready to wrap it up real quick. But if you want to tell me real quick in a condensed, paragraph, sure. I think, I saw a couple of videos where they were saying that, Schreier was saying that EA was constantly pulling people off of the Anthem project and moving them around to other projects, with them putting a lot of focus on FIFA. But I won't dig too much more into it than that, because I still want to have something to talk about tomorrow. But if you want to take a quick second again, Uncompetitive, to tell me what you think happened, then yeah, I'll read the comment, and then if I can say something this rather short, then I'll comment on it. If not, whatever you type in the comments, we'll save it for conversation for tomorrow, especially if it looks like something that that makes for interesting conversation. Almost 4:30. The fan backlash to Star Wars Battlefront made EA abandon their plans to put pay-to-skip microtransactions and cosmetic loot boxes in Anthem and reassign Frostbite staff to FIFA. Hey, uncompetitive, that makes sense. I definitely won't challenge that, that theory. But I don't know. Even with EA pulling people off the project and moving them somewhere else, it still seems like 6 years is a lot of time for, that seems like a lot of time to be given to develop a game. So yeah, we can definitely talk about that some more tomorrow. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about, I'll talk about it tomorrow, but just to let everybody know that that's also on the agenda to talk about GameStop. Again, paraphrasing, saying something to the effect that they expect, the next gen consoles to be revealed pretty soon, maybe even released this year. So If that's the case, my theory that the PlayStation 5 could still launch in November of 2019 is still in play. You said don't expect great post-launch support for Anthem due to its lack of monetization. I would agree with that too. I do think this though, especially since people, one of the things that I've been hearing about with Anthem is the lack of content. I would be willing to believe that EA will probably, give everybody one more map or something like that, just to show everybody that they haven't abandoned support of the game, and then probably abandon it. Because despite the disastrous launch that Battlefield 5 had, EA said they were still gonna, give DLC, and still give us the Battle Royale mode, which they did. I think they did give us another map, and they did give us the Battle Royale mode. But I don't know. Moving forward, I don't know if they're going to continue to support the game, though. If they do, I wouldn't be surprised. If they don't support it, I wouldn't be surprised. Sure, be nice to get that not Battlefield, that Firewall update. Firestorm, Apex. Well, I think they're definitely going to continue to support Apex Legends because the game is a smash. I think also I've asked this question before. I think I mentioned it in one of my game streams, but I think I, want to touch on that tomorrow too. Is that I'm wondering if the success of Shadow Dies Twice is that enough to convince Activision that making money at a slow burn wouldn't be the end of the world. It wouldn't. Um, will it teach them that single player games still sell? Will it show them that, like I said, they don't have to. Every game don't have to do the kind of numbers that they were expected from Black Ops 4 or Destiny 2. Um, Activision can do both. Yeah, I mean they could, but I think the apparent success of Shadow Dies Twice shows them that yeah they I think they still got to throw a single player game out there every now and then because I mean given Activision's reputation, I think that for Shadows Die Twice, for the only complaint is that the game is too hard. If that's the only complaint of the game, then I think that's not terrible. Because nobody's saying that the game is garbage. The only complaints coming about the game is that it's too hard. So the game looks interesting to me. I just don't. But like I said, I'm damn near done with flat screen games. Therefore, I'm not going to pay $60 for a game that's going to end up being a backlog game. So I'll just wait until it fizzles out and goes into the bargain bin. I'll scoop it up when it comes down to 30 or even $20. He said, "Did you know Destiny was inspired by Dark Souls?" No, I did not. So, with that being said, I'm going to get ready to wrap it up. head on out to Walmart and go pick up my copy of No Man's Sky for the PS4. And one, I don't know, sometime in the next couple of hours, I'll try to do a stream before we get ready for the roundtable. Also, my sleep patterns are sporadic, so if I end up waking up at 2 in the morning or something like that, the hell with it. I'll go ahead and jump up and do a stream then too. But I definitely plan on getting in several streams this weekend, especially being that I don't work tomorrow. So with that being said, give it a like, all that good stuff. Comment, share, and we will see everybody at Wakanda tomorrow. And as far as this evening goes, we will catch you all at the round table this evening as well. Make sure y'all come and check out the round table. Y'all know how we do it. So thanks for watching, everybody. Wakanda forever! I'll let y'all later.